Guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, I'm going to go over an article titled Woman Sparks Debate Online for Ditching Date After Discovering He's a Dad. And guys, this story is one that's definitely been circulating around, all about this woman that went on this date with this guy, and while they're on the date, lo and behold, he reveals that he's a dad, and she ends up ditching him, right? Because he is a single dad. And what's very interesting about this story, guys, is that she obviously posted her story online, spread like wildfire, and the amount of support she's gotten from other women around the world about this and saying, how dare he not let her know and things like that because she didn't know about this. It's unreal because we all know darn well that if a story was written online about a guy who went on a date with a woman and she revealed that she was a mother, single MOM, and the guy did the same thing, it would be pandemonium. Everybody would be hooting and hollering and raising hell and torches and pitchforks over the guy because he did such an awful thing because she is a single MOM. But when it's a dad, when it happens to a dad, then nobody cares. And of course, that's just the people online and probably the Twitter mob and all that. And don't get me started on the media raising holy hell. But in this article, nobody's giving her a hard time. Nobody's chastising her and all that. And it's bad, guys, because I cannot say here on YouTube that word without getting flagged. I've had videos, I kid you not, in the past where I've had in the title single MOM, I actually say that, and it flags it. I got to change the title, otherwise they won't let me do it. Or I've had times where I filmed a video where I said it in the very beginning, and again, I had to stop and edit the video and take that out because they wouldn't let me play it. No joke. So it's very interesting, the double standard that goes on in this world. And that'll be a good one to point out. Now I got to say this as I get into this story, because it's not very long, but I like to point out this double standard BS on occasion. I got no problem if, say, a single woman only wants to date a guy that has no kids, no obligations, none of that. I got no problem with that. And as I have no problem with a guy not wanting to date a single MOM, because there are a lot of darn good reasons why he doesn't want to. And there could be a lot of good reasons why she doesn't want to date a guy that has kids either. It's just not her thing. She doesn't like kids. She doesn't want them in the way. No problem. And I got no problem with a woman thinking that a guy should be upfront about that before they go out on their date, as a woman should be, not hiding it from the guy when he starts to get to know her and like her and say, oh, by the way, I got 3 screaming kids at home. I got no problem with it. But I do have a problem with the double standard. That's my issue here. And to no surprise, there's plenty of it. We are treated differently, and it's ridiculous. So I'm going to go through this article here and point more of this out. Starts off, it says here, a single gal who ditched a potential partner after revealing he was a father sparked debate online for claiming singletons on the internet should declare they have kids before going on dates. The user, who posts under the name Floral Arrangement and is thought to be from the UK, was disappointed to discover a man that she'd been chatting with online had 2 toddlers, aged 2 and 4, which he casually brought up when they met in person. Talking to Mumsnet, the 28-year-old explained they had met on a dating app and coincidentally worked for the same company, but that she would have rejected him if she'd known he had children. So right then and there, this part, she would have rejected him if she knew he had kids. Now, if this was the other way around, a guy wrote this, right, those words, rejecting her because she had kids, what would happen? Torches and pitchforks. You know what I'm talking about. And by the way, for you guys who have been watching me for a while, I've done some videos that talk about this subject with the single MOMs and characteristics that a lot of them possess and how it's advisable to a lot of single guys to not date them. I always make it clear that they're not all the same. They're not all like that because I know some, okay? And there's some that have their shit together and they're cool. But still, it can be a hassle. But if she does it, then it's okay. It says here, the post, shared on Saturday with over 600 replies, which can be read here, there's a link, said the user initially found him charming, but thought the revelation was a huge deal and the date had lied by omission. Well, to be perfectly honest, he should have brought that up. And I'm fine with that idea. If somebody's dating, they should let people know they have kids, and so should she. According to research published by the Statista Research Department, around 3.27 million children were living with a single father in the United States in 2020. Asking other users for their opinion on the fact that her date had just had children, she said, "Just got back from a brunch date and this was casually brought up. I feel like this is a huge deal, especially due to the ages." Well, I will also agree with the ages, 2 and 4 years old. That guy definitely should have let her know ahead of time. I got no problem with that. Also, the gals that are on the dating app should also let the guys know ahead of time. I got 2 kids. I got 1 kid. They're 5 years old, or 2 years old, or 3 years old. The guys have a right to know. And some people don't think it's a big deal. Like, why should I let the guy know? Because that way he knows what he's getting involved. If it's a guy looking for a relationship, honestly, if you're relationship guys, and you start seeing a woman, you really like her, but you don't want any kids, and then you find out she has kids, you got to bait and switch. That's just not cool. And I'm fair here. There are women out there that don't like kids, believe it or not, and they don't want to do with kids. Okay, that's their business. I got no problem with that. I have a problem with the double standard. And the guy, I'll let them know. The woman explained that she did not have children and wasn't keen to date anyone who did, though she may change her mind in the future. Yeah, if she suddenly hooks up with Chad and Tyrone, she has a little kid, then all of a sudden she'll be okay with that. She went on, "I feel like he didn't tell me, and probably other women, in advance as a way of getting dates from people who otherwise would have said no. Is this too harsh?" Depends who you're asking. Some people would say it's too harsh, other people would understand. For those of you that do old or online dating, do you tell people in advance? Put it in your profile. "We worked together for a huge organization, and I didn't know of him before, and none of my friends do, which meant I felt pressure to have a good date with him because I hate awkwardness." She says, "I already have one ex-boyfriend at work, which I find stressful. I'd rather not make it a pattern with multiple people I have to avoid for one reason or another." Well, newsflash, don't date people you work with. I tell people all the time this. Your job, the place you go to earn a paycheck or for your career, whatever it may be, that's business. That's for your job. That's to pay the bills, to build your career, not a dating scene. Back in the old days, it was quite common to date your coworkers, but in the era of Me Too, and actually I'm saying this because hopefully I don't get penalized, because God forbid I say that. You all know the stories of what can happen. Now, ever since COVID, the M2 stories have come down dramatically. But I think once, in a way, a lot of the real, in a degree, goes back to where it was, more people working in the office, then you'll start hearing about that again. It's just not a good idea to date people you work with. There's plenty of people out there. Users were split over the issue, with some claiming that the man had no obligation to share he had children before the pair got to know each other, while others felt it was annoying when singletons don't say their parents for their online profiles. One mom wrote, "I don't put that I have children on my profile. No, it's nothing to do with anyone until I get to know them. Didn't you text or call before the date to find out more about each other?" See, and that's not cool. Right here, you got a mom saying, I don't let the guy know about the kids. If this is a guy's dating a relationship type of guy who's looking for a girlfriend, something serious, to build something into something meaningful and lasting, I mean, but there are those that think that. He had to know up front what he's getting into. But clearly that's been an issue for her. Another one says, the men I've spoken to who haven't put their children on their profile did always make me aware they have children before the date. While we were getting to know each other a little more, maybe put it on your profile. You don't date people with children. There you go. Quite simple. And yeah, she'll get some anger for that, some hate. And believe me, if a guy put on his dating profile, "I don't date women with children," he'll get some hate too. But the funny thing is, he'll get way more hate than she'll get. And we all know it. Other users agreed singletons should declare they have children, with one mom saying, "Yes, they should. It doesn't have to be on profile, but should say before you meeting in messages. Many men will lie as they don't want to put women off. My ex has 5 kids and told me he tells women he doesn't have any. But also, it's important to you that you should ask in the future." There you go. Yeah, if you especially ask and they say no, and it turns out they have 5 kids, what does that say? Another user agreed, "This used to annoy me too. It's such a huge thing, and it always felt like they hadn't mentioned it because they wouldn't get as many dates." Which could be true, but what they think was going to happen. Someone liked them so much on the first date, they would overlook something as huge as having kids. If I didn't want to date someone who had them, I mean. Even if they did surely lie in such a lie of omission would put the person off. I just don't understand it. Yeah, be upfront. The original poster replied, "This is how I feel." He knew I probably wouldn't want to meet up with him. This is a way he sort of charmed me at first, and giving him a shot where he would have had one before. The live emission did put me off. Says here, lots of people put that they have children in their profiles, that they have a partner and are looking for a polyamorous thing, or they are purely looking for a friends with benefit arrangement. All are things I would be annoyed about if they weren't clear pre-meeting. Okay, so the point is, I see it going both ways. Let people know. But again, back to this whole thing that if a guy ditched a gal on a date because he found out then that she didn't mention that she had kids and walked out, or didn't give her another date or something along those lines, and talked about online, we all know darn well, torches and pitchforks. That guy be the root of all evil, and there'd be articles about him, how horrible he is because he's not giving that single MOM a chance and blah, blah, blah. But when a woman does it to a single dad, well then, hey, no big deal. And they actually do come out and support her, saying, I hate when guys do that, you know. But I will say this, I think it's right, because I try to be fair here, that both parties let people know in advance they got kids. And especially if somebody asks about it and they don't lie, you know. Because there's plenty of dudes out there that don't like kids, and believe it or not, there are women out there that don't like kids, and I know some. That's more rare, but it happens. So anyway, guys, it's a quick one here. I thought it'd be a good one to go over because it is pretty funny to see the double standard here and how the media handles such things. Because like I said, if it was a guy, it'd be a totally night and day difference. All right, guys, that is it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. Let me know what you think. Do you think that it's important that both parties list on their dating apps and profiles they have kids, etc., etc.? I know some of you guys are going to say, well, SSM, I don't date anymore, so I don't care. Okay, fine. But for those of you who do, let me hear about it. And let me also know, guys, have you been out on dates with women and then found out later on that they have kids? How'd that go? Let's hear about that. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.